This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is Not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess, Jules Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane.
This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hello everybody, this is Baliyan Akki coming to you from Japan with, of course, Wrestling with Entertainment. Have fun and let's find something about each other. Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to the show. It's Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today. The trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., and it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with Baliyan Akki!
Thank you very much for saying it with a dramatic effect. I really much appreciate that.
Well, we like to do
Hello, everybody. Yes, please. I mean, yeah, thanks about that. I like dramatic effects. I mainly wrestle in Choco Pro, if you guys know. So, parties and dramatic effects are kind of our thing. So, I appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. We like to do it big here for our guest on Wrestling With. And can you tell us where we can find you event-wise next?
Yes, sure.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, where can we find you event-wise?
Event-wise, I mean, there's plenty. We are on YouTube. You can just search Choco Pro on YouTube or on Google or any place you want to search. You should be able to find us, our websites and all those things. We are a no paywall kind of thing. So anything and everything we do is for you to watch. And in return, if you find us fun, if you find like, oh, these guys are worth watching and staying. So we have many avenues. We have Patreons and memberships and all those things. And you get to support us in any way, shape you would like. That's basically Choco Pro. That's basically where you see me most of the time. I do travel here and there. With Best Bros, my team, me and Mei, we do tours every now and then and all those things. But, most likely just on Choco Pro.
And where can we find you on social media and your merchandise?
As for merch, I don't really have a website right now. I do sell my merch mostly through Choco Pro, which is easy to do. They handle it. They'll do all of those things, which is very nice. They're very proper. There wouldn't be any unnecessary delays if I do it myself comparatively. I mean, they do it very nice. So I let them handle most of it. So I think Choco Pro, you just need to search Big Cartel. Just search Gotham Move Big Cartel or Choco Pro Big Cartel and you should be able to find it. As for social media, you can just search Baliyan Akki. It's a very unique name. It will show up pretty soon on Insta, on Twitter, most places basically. Even on Facebook, I think I do have. I used to do when I was back in India. I had basically a Facebook page which is connected to my Instagram now. So if you are one of those Facebook people, which I do appreciate a lot because most of my dad's generation is Facebook people now. So if you are one of them, just check out Baliyan Akki and you should be able to find me most places.
Okay, and you don't have to go looking for it. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox.
Thank you. Oh, that's fantastic. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into it.
Yes, let's do it.
You were a part of you wrestled in the Champions Carnival. As the tag team partner of Okada. I mean, that's for anybody that doesn't know, that's the All Japan's equivalent to the G1 Climax. So what was kind of what was your experience being a part of that that tournament.
Wow, very few people know that. I'm actually surprised you even know that I did that. Yes, it was quite an unfortunate situation because I did wrestle quite a bit for Old Japan, especially during the pandemic when it was quite, let's just say, wrestling was going through quite a difficult time at that time.
Right.
The fans were kind of loud, but not really, and all those things. But I did quite a bit of, quite a nice amount of work there, working with Yoshitsu actually most of the time I was there. But that particular time was actually difficult because that is the first time I ever got hurt in wrestling when I was doing that. In Korakuen Hall, I broke my AC joint, grade 5, just completely teared it. That is the actually, I was supposed to, it's okay to say now, but like I was supposed to do the whole series, and I think I blew my shoulder. I think the second match, I must say, or the first one, but in Korakuen Hall, I remember that I got getting hurt for the first time, which was a terrible timing, to be honest, because it was quite a. I was looking forward to participating in All Japan because, like in wrestling, most of the time, to get to wrestle a completely new wrestler is fun, like someone you haven't worked with before. But even more fun is getting to wrestle in a particular environment. Let's just say most of like Japanese companies, and I think all companies in the world, unless it's an independent company which gets talent from outside, if it's a company that cultivates talent, like mostly Japanese company do, getting to like really wrestling, going to a company and really wrestling there, you get to you get like introduced to a culture way more than just even wrestling. Of course, there's individual wrestlers there, and you get to wrestle with them, and it's a lot of fun. But getting to know that very different kind of what they think is nice in wrestling, what they pay attention to, what is the base core at which their wrestling, like basically surrounds around. Like it's a
Baliyan, can you hear me? Hello?
because of it, I was really, really looking forward to the fact that we will be able to like work together in that sense. And All Japan is such an old company that to be, and they're changing right now, which is a very, very interesting time. So I was really looking forward to it. It was quite a shame that I got hurt. Yeah, and first time too.
That really does suck. I'm literally the biggest stage.
Yes, like literally in Korakuen Hall. Like it is terrible. I've only been hurt twice, like really, and it is. I love Korakuen Hall. I genuinely love it. That is my favorite venue in Japan. It is. Maybe it is because it's so wide. Like it's so almost free. Because I come from India. Like I used to run shows in India since I was 19. And when I used to run shows there to like wrestle, we would mostly just get like a school ground, borrow it, like rent it for a day and just do the show. So I haven't never really like wrestled in like a closed environment. Like Chokopro is intimate. That's a very different genre. Intimacy and closeness are two very different things.
Right.
Like Chokopro, the audience is so close to you that you're kind of wrestling with the audience almost. So that's a very intimate thing. The place actually doesn't even kind of matter at that point. But if you're wrestling in a very natural sense, it's a ring and you are wrestling in the center and people are surround you. In that sense, I've never been coming before you. I've never really wrestled like in a closed off environment. I've always wrestled in like open fields basically. So I think in that, maybe because of that, maybe I'm not too sure about it, but maybe because of that, the first time it's actually funny. The very first time I didn't get nervous before a show, and since then I'm a different wrestler. I genuinely am. Like how I used to get nervous before a show just vanished that day. Is the first day I wrestled for Korakuen Hall. My debut in Korakuen Hall, I was not nervous at all. Like not even forget nervous. I was so excited. I could not wait. It was so much fun. I remember going in there. I remember wrestling. I remember doing crazy stuff, and it was just fantastic. I couldn't believe how easy to wrestle there was. Korakuen Hall is really incredibly easy to wrestle. It just somehow really frees me, and this is my favorite venue in the world. in all like every place I've ever wrestled, including like arenas and all, like big shows. In let's just say for a few times for AW in US or the shows I used to do in India with like 3, 4,000, 5,000 people. But still, there's nothing to me that's compared to Korakuen Hall. And I've only been hurt twice,
No,
and both of them have only been in Korakuen Hall. It's terrible. I can't believe it. I generally curse that fair, like how and why.
You mentioned, that first time being in Korakuen Hall, obviously an incredible experience. But I mean, you've wrestled in there a bunch of times now. Does that magic,
A lot, yes.
has that magic kind of wore off, or is it still like
Not
I'm
at
in
all.
Korakuen Hall?
Forget about vanishing away. It's the biggest magic now, because we just came off of Korakuen Hall. Like Chocopro did Chocopro in that sense. Chocopro did this first, and got to move the parent company of Chocopro, which have been around for 12 years now. They did Korakuen Hall after 8 years.
Wow.
Chocopro was born 4 years ago in the start of the pandemic. So like, and they're one of the biggest. Like they have Misakura has decided to merge the companies under the name of Chocopro, by the way, on that day. So like to me, like it is a different thing if I explain it. Wrestling in Korakuen Hall is special, but doing Korakuen Hall is a very different thing. Doing Korakuen Hall is really like what special is written about. Like I've wrestled in Korakuen Hall quite a bit now, but this time on 31st of August, we did Korakuen Hall. I wasn't just wrestling there for a match for a company. No, my company, Choco Pro, is doing Korakuen Hall. I'm doing Korakuen Hall. That's a very different experience. Like the magic for like fading away is not even a thing. Like the magic is the boom right now. I couldn't believe how incredible it was. I couldn't believe walking in and it's such a weird thing because I did get hurt like 2 months ago in Korakuen Hall. So, and I've been kind of taking time off during that time. But I wrestled on that. I was quite hurt when I went into the match. It was quite a short match because of it and all that. But it was such a genuine magic. Like the fans calling out, cheering me on, even though I can't wrestle at all in that match. And they should be disappointed. Like they want to see me fly almost in Korakuen Hall, and I can't even like run and all those things. But I've never, like an audience have never kind of hugged me that tight before. If that phrase makes any sense. Like really, I could feel the warmth just squishing me. It was incredible. And like those kind of moments really, I think Korakuen Hall is a place that makes them more accessible. But I think it was just a magical night.
Well, let's talk about the opposite end of the spectrum, Mexico. You worked for CMLL, and you were in quite the tag team match. You teamed up with Hiromu Takahashi, Adrian Quest, Francisco Akira, Kushida, Rocky Romero, Samurai Del Sol, and TJP. I mean, it doesn't get more New Japan than that.
It's basically the New Japan boys and me, basically. Yeah, really. It was a world team it was a world team, but the world team was basically New Japan and Baliyan Akki, basically. That was the world team. It was fun. It was so much fun. I had so much fun doing that. Mexico is a place where wrestling is still what wrestling was when it was intended to be. Like what wrestling really was when it really came about, when it was popular, when it kind of burst into the pop culture and like, oh, this is a thing, was basically from like give or take 70s to 90s, right?
Yeah.
Like then it changed into a different thing. And I think that is what like you could even say about like more like not just wrestling, most industries are like that, I think. Entertainment kind of overall began in like 50s and 60s, and then a lot of different type of things just kind of evolved and really became what they are in the 70s, 80s, and 60s, like 90s. And I think wrestling is the same thing. Of course, it started like around 30s and 40s. There were shows, but then it really took shape around 60s, and then it what really became what it will be like forever in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I think that is the most primal, you could say, time of wrestling. What's incredible in Mexico is that it's still that, especially in CMLL. Wrestling there is still that. It has not changed in that sense. I mean, of course, times have changed and people have changed, but the core of it is still the same. Like Arena Mexico, wrestling in Arena Mexico is a unique experience. Wrestling, just lucha, is a unique experience. Like what matters there is so different from what matters in the Western wrestling. Like what's important to them, what they admire, what makes you great there is so different completely. And I think I genuinely believe the reason why US Indies is so dominated now in like every 3 to 4 months, 6 months, another like a new luchador shows up and just blasts the US Indies all over. Like that's because like the thing that we feel is incredible, like the athleticism and those things, like how cool you are. That's just Mexican wrestling. Like that's it's all about.
Right.
You need to have that. Like it is such a like, especially from Japan's point of view, the strength of you, like what makes you great, is so different, so completely different from like Japan. The stoicism, the poses, the silence, the shadows, you could say. That's great about Japanese wrestling. Like it really is in the shadows in Japanese wrestling. Mexican wrestling is all about light, just brightness, stars in your face, almost too bright. And then Japanese wrestling shines in the context of wrestling, in the shadows, in how deep and thoughtful it is, and the little intricacies, and how deeply and detailed can you really understand what the talent is trying to convey, and how much details can you put in, small ones, and then some like fans want to get them, and it's such a different relation, which is very unique because my base is basically Japanese wrestling now. Like I grew up watching American wrestling, of course, WWE the whole time in India. There's no other, like people don't even know the name pro wrestling yet in India. They still only know WWE. So I grew up watching that. And then I really, like, my wrestling made, the thing that made Baliyan Akki the wrestler is the Japanese wrestling when I came here. And then now I travel around and I wrestle around, and it's such a unique thing to see the different styles. It's very close to like speaking different languages almost. And I think maybe I do connect those dots because I do speak like different languages, and it is it's such close relation between how the different wrestling style works and how different languages work. Because you're basically saying the same thing. Like if I'm saying hey, hello, I'm basically just conveying that in words to you, and you just use different words. Like the wrestling is the same. What you're doing in wrestling is basically the same thing. Nobody's doing something like nobody's just the whole time on their hands because they don't want to walk on their legs. Like there's none of that. It's just basically very, very similar, same thing. It's like if I have to give you an example, you could think like we are going to a room, and it's basically having different doors. We're gonna go to the same room. It's just which door you use to go in there. I think speaking languages is very similar in that sense. It's the same with like wrestling, the lucha and the like pro wrestling, even the catch as catch can style of Europe, which you see rarely now, but it is like one of the more like a very unique style, or the big star spangled basically American wrestling. Like that is a very like how should I say, very superstar, like very TV style kind of wrestling as well. It is just It's just basically different doors to get into the same room because we're doing the same wrestling. Like there's no difference in the actual thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Now you were in that match. You were up against Mystico, Ultimate Guerrero,
Yeah.
and Volador Jr. Obviously three big names, three legends in wrestling.
Yeah.
What was it like being in the ring with them?
Mexico is incredible. Like I don't think US people realize what is Mystico. Mystico is a phenom in Mexico, like a legit phenom. It's like prime John Cena basically. Like he shows up, the place is packed and people are going crazy, basically. Like as far as like Voldemort goes, Voldemort is a nice, how should I say? He's such a pro. He's such a pro. It is it is such a wrestler. Like it is hard to convey that why unless you know wrestling, unless you've been in the industry, it's hard to like put it into words what I mean when I say he's such a pro, but he's such a pro. Like
No, I get what you mean.
like imagine in a kitchen, he's a chef basically. So he's a wrestler basically.
I got
He's and Guerrero is just Ultimo Guerrero. I fought him. Like in that match, the one I really just wrestled the most was Ultimo Guerrero. I really wrestled him. He's a mean bastard, basically. If I'm being all honest. But it's fun wrestling him. It's really fire, basically. Like that's his language. It's violence and getting people in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you were on PWI's Top 500 in 2023.
Yes, for like 2-3 years now, which is very nice of those people.
You were 378 in 2023, 430 in 2022, and 383 in 2021. What does it kind of mean to you to be on that list and featured in PWI?
Like, I don't really understand that, to be really honest with you. I don't maybe because I didn't grow up in the normal independent culture. Like I didn't understood or know about independent wrestling till I was like 20.
I got you.
Like 19 mostly. So I don't understand that, like the significance of it. Like you could say, like a lot of people now watch Marvel. Like everybody loves Iron Man and Spider-Man and Captain America and all that. But if you grew up reading comics, it means completely different to you. Like how much it means to you can never be the same as what it means to me, who just enjoys the movies. But if you grew up watching comics, then it's incredible to you. So like in the same sense, I don't really it's never been like a thing for me. But it is an incredible thing to me because I found out about PWI rankings the first time I was on the rankings. I didn't know about it. So, which is a very funny thing. But I found out that there's this thing, and somebody, I think, I didn't know I was on it. I think somebody messaged me on Twitter or like it tagged me that Mei is on the list. And then I'm like, oh, what is this list? So I just checked it and I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like it just shows the history. There's every year somebody's number one from WWE, or like I think Kenny became number one without like WWE and all that became a big thing. So I read about it and then I told me, like, man, you're on the list and all that. They're like, what is this list? I'm like, this is this. I just found out about it. And then somebody tagged me, no, you are on the list too. And I go, oh, okay. And then I'm like, oh, this is what's about. But it's fun. Like, imagine if I have to say like what it really means to me, you can think of it like this. I come from India. I come from a place that has no independent circuit even to this day. We're trying very hard. Like the company I started when I was 19 still runs shows. We have a dojo and everything. They're trying to have an industry, to have like a lot of kids want to be wrestlers, but you can't really be wrestlers unless you wrestle. Like you can learn, you can practice and all those things, but you cannot be a
Right.
pro in that way. So for me to be for me to be like to come out, to be able to be wrestle, to become a professional at it, and to be good enough in that profession that I make my living through it. That was the dream. Like I wanted to be a wrestler. What I do right now is a wrestler. I live in Tokyo, Japan. I live in the country I wanted to. I wrestled with one of the best wrestlers in the world. I travel around and make money doing wrestling. I go into interesting places, meet interesting people. That's basically what I do. So in all sense, I am living the dream. Like this was a dream. And having my name in like something like PWI and like basically like you could say it's almost like a statement onto the proof that what I think I'm doing is actually true, basically. Like I think I'm living the dream. This was the dream. But then when something like that happens, it really becomes like almost like a proof of concept that oh yeah, it is true. It is true.
Right.
So I'm fortunate. I'm happy. I am very grateful that like of course the good people at PWI, but more so than that, the wrestling world has given me a place to be.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
You mentioned, you're living in Japan. Going from India to Japan, was there any sense of culture shock there?
I wouldn't say, I mean, of course there is. It's like a different world. You know the new things that are very popular, the isekai things, where people like traverse into the new world, basically. That's very popular in like anime world now.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like. It is a completely different world. From where I come from, it is not the same world. Like it is as far imaginably as can be. But more so than that, I think it was so long for me to get here. Like I prepared for 2.5 years to be able to come to Japan. And it's not easy. It was not easy at all because I come from India, and traveling internationally isn't an easy thing, especially because I was running a wrestling company and I didn't have a ton of money, and I was like 21 years old. So,
Right.
so it was yeah. I like genuinely like I prepared for 2.5 years, like documents and all that, to be able to come here. And so there was such a long time for me to kind of ruminate and imagine and dream about coming here. Like it was a very long, patient filled fight. And when you are in those situations, you imagine a lot, you dream a lot, you almost to the point that you get frustrated, almost to like painfully so almost. You dream a lot about the places you want to do, the things. That's why I said like I'm living the dream. Because all those 2.5 years where I couldn't wrestle really, like I would organize shows once a month or a half one, like every like 45 to 50 days, or if I was lucky, I would be able to do once a month. But usually it would be like this month it was one, then 2 months, then 1 month, then 2 months, or something like that. But in average, we would do like give or take 8 to 9 shows, 7 to 9 shows, like a year, and we did that for 2.5 years basically before I moved here. Like I tried to move here, it was hard, but it was. That's why when I say like because there was such a long time for me to prepare for it, I really dreamt about it, like to no end. To almost to like, yeah, losing my mind level. But that's why like I knew exactly what I wanted and how I wanted it, and I was surprised when I got here in every sense. I was surprised by the wrestling. I was surprised by the people. I was surprised by how much I wanted to speak the language. I tried really hard to speak the language, which I do now, almost fluently. Like it, not even just a culture shock. It was just Yeah, it was like throwing somebody into a new world. Everything was an adventure. Everything was a shock. It was almost too magical.
Well, speaking of adventure, where's the best ramen in Japan?
Ooh, you can't ask that. There will be samurai swords flying in the middle of Tokyo streets. You can't ask that. But yeah, there's many. There's too many great ones. There's too many great ones. Like, it's like asking what's the best apple in the world. You can't ask that. There's too many types. There's like, but I can tell you one thing though. The best ramen shops in Japan are very small. Most of them. Most of them sit like 6 people or 8 if they are too big. And they are run by a single person most of the time. They might have a helper if they are like getting up to the age. And even though people line up there every day, all day, they will never make their shop bigger. It's been the same shop for the last 40 years. And most of the time, by the way, the chef, or you could say the master, is what you call them here. Sensei is what you call them. Basically the ramen chef haven't taken a day off. Haven't taken a day off in like 30 years or something, which is not that uncommon here. It's quite common here. So like the best ramen places is no joke, the smallest kind of hole in a wall kind of places. They're never too expensive. It's not about most of the time, if you really want to have an incredible cuisine experience, like they say in US, culture-wise, it will come with the same amount of money. You will pay quite a significant amount of money, and you'll be able to have like some of the best meals you can get in US. That money has nothing to do with what the quality of the food you will get here, especially when it comes to like ramen and those kind of Simon shops. It will still be like 1,500 yen. And the same run-of-the-mill ramen shop will be the same as well. But they are like, yeah, they're after mastery. They're after making, they in their heart want to make the best ramen in the world. And that's all they care about. It's not about as long as the shop is running, people are happy, they're happy. And most of by the way, ramen real shops owners are kind of like almost rude. That's how professional they are, which is also funny. They really are like hardcore, very stoic. By the way, they don't talk much. It's a whole experience. So if you are here and you do want to have a really great ramen, don't try to go to like any high fancy thing you have read about on like a Insta or like a TikTok thing or something. Don't worry about those. Don't go to the touristy places. Just in your neighborhood, whichever the neighborhood is, just try to find like a nice quiet ramen shop, and you will have the best time of your life.
All right. Now, can you tell us about your best bro, Mei Suruga?
Yeah, Mei. Yeah. What can I tell you? Yeah, Caesar and bro. We are a tag team born out of pure coincidence. Yeah, by pure, how should I say? Just the things would align in such a way that we are a team. We travel around. We are a unique kind of team. We don't kind of wrestle the way like a normal tag team would wrestle. And as far as we are concerned, we are one of the best in the world, at least. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What's a pet peeve about Mei that you just don't understand?
Too many. Where do you want me to start? I got a paper.
Well,
But
would you like to start?
The one thing that I would like to say is that her presence brings me incredible joy. That is very true. Because I wish, and it has had a very, very fun impact on me. I think overall Chopra has had, but I think Mei specifically, is that I look at things with way more happiness in my eyes now. Like her pure skill almost to be able to enjoy just life. Not anything special, not anything great, not like the big days. No, just mundane, everyday thing. To be able to like really enjoy that life and be happy with the smallest things, like literally the smallest thing. Just be the happiest. That is to me something that I wanna have in my life as much as possible. Like that thing, I never get tired of seeing that. It almost pisses me off sometimes how much she does that. Is because like just with a nice, good tasting biscuit or like a cookie or a good drink, which we drink every day, just those things. Like incredibly happy with a blissful face. Like sometimes really does piss me off. Yeah, really. Like it just how dare you be so happy with so little? But like yeah, it is an experience on its own.
Well, I mean, the next person we'll be talking about, I don't think you'd run into that. I've interviewed many of people that's had interactions with this person, but never anybody that's actually gone one-on-one with him. Can you tell us about wrestling the king, Minoru Suzuki?
Of course, talk to me. I know Suzuki-san very well. I think I know him actually. I know him too well actually. I know him way more than I ever thought I would know him. The first time I wrestled him, after wrestling him, I basically I picked a fight with him saying, I will beat your ass someday, old man. Like really. Not even like we didn't even need to like I was so pissed after wrestling him that I just genuinely while Ami Sakura by the way was interviewing him, I have no part in the interview. But I was so pissed after that match that I just genuinely picked a fight with him. No, like no joke. He was serious too, by the way. But then we have met quite a lot of times. We have met a lot. We have talked a lot. One thing I really love about him is that no matter how much Japanese I speak, he really tries to speak to me in English every time,
Wow.
which is fantastic. Yeah, he always tries. Hey, okay, like that kind of thing. But we have met a lot. We have met quite a lot. I've actually wrestled for his show. He does like a motorbike plus like almost a fair. Like he runs a fair every year for like 2-3 days. If you remember, like one time there was like a famous meme, not meme, like GIF, like a video on Twitter, on X, where him and Kazuchika Okada are wrestling in rain.
Yes.
And they're like people like that. That is actually a fair Minoru Suzuki runs.
Yes.
So what he does is basically it's a free entry thing, and he runs a show, and there's like bike shows there, there's other shows there, it's a festival, there's food, and he wrestles there as well. There's like one match for like 2 days straight. One match today, one match tomorrow kind of thing. Or like 2 matches today, 2 matches tomorrow kind of thing. And he brings different people. So one time, me and Mei wrestled there as best bros for his fair, which was very fun.
I mean, that's awesome. And I mean, obviously, a big honor as well, no?
Yeah. Yes, but like he comes from the old days. He enjoys a fight, and he takes pride in the fact that he's a tough motherfucker, basically. Like he takes pride in that, and it is. But he's an incredible pro. He knows, I think, way more about the wrestling business than people can ever imagine, and people can even ever hope to like go to that place. It's not for nothing that he's been in this wrestling and is still one of the most relevant wrestlers at that age. He's like almost doing side quests in wrestling, just having fun and making money. But he's very true to who he is. Like when he says, "Give me the money and I'll wrestle," like that's who he is. He loves fighting. That's all true. That's the dude. That's who he is. like with everything, with the good, with the bad, with the ugly. He's right there. He's mean and he likes being mean. Yeah, he loves it. Like he genuinely is just a really mean fucker, but he loves it. That's who he is, and he is also very proud, and he likes that he's proud. He knows who he is, and he's incredibly comfortable. Maybe one of the most comfortable person in who he is that I've ever met. Incredibly confident and incredibly comfortable in his own skin. And that's what, like, I think that's where his, like, the confidence that he exudes and people just can't just get glued by. That's where it comes from. And he loves himself, let's be very honest. He really does love himself. which is one of my favorite thing about him. But yeah, but I would love to wrestle him. I have to wrestle him. It's not a question of can I or will I or no. I have to wrestle him.
Right.
But yeah, maybe within the next year.
And I have to ask, Minoru
Yes.
Suzuki, the hardest you've been hit?
Yeah. That's a relative question because I've been knocked out. So, like, which was the hardest? But yeah, really, like, so I would say the hardest I've ever been like chopped was actually by a very, very different wrestler. You just maybe it was a freak accident or something, but I remember I used to wrestle with like a top on, but then I really got like I wrestled for the first time in Japan without a top, and I was in incredible shape. I must have had like 5 to 6% body fat. Like I had skin on me. I was very, very fit. I was very, very cut, basically. And I wrestled, and my opponent chopped me in the chest, and my chest kind of just fell apart like tofu. Have you eaten tofu before? Or curd? If you hit it, it kind of like creaks, like it breaks.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm talking? Yes.
Yeah.
That happened to my chest. And it just started bleeding right away. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? To this day is the most, like, I don't understand it to this day. I'm like, what the, like, how is that even, maybe it's also could be because I was so low on fat percentage, like, genuinely just had, like, just skin on my muscles. Like, really, really, really low body fat percentage. Like, basically, generally might be 5 to 6. I was in peak form. And I think maybe because of that, it was so easy to like rupture because my skin just ruptured and just started bleeding heavy. Like quite good, like a nice kind. So that is, I think, like the most noticeable I've been hit. Other than that, is like many ass also hit super hard. Minoru Suzuki, by the way, is the one thing I would say is that he is very precise when he hits. He likes to hit a particular way. He goes for your jaw, which is a very different thing. Like most wrestlers don't go for your jaw. They hit you in the chest or in the neck or in the head or something like that. But Minoru Suzuki likes to hit you in the jaw, which does kind of make you loopy. It really does. It's like getting. How would I explain it? If you don't do martial arts and you haven't been hit hard in the head before, what it's like is that when you wake up, when you wake up and you haven't gotten out of the bed yet, you're having a hard time looking at the clock and seeing what the time it is really because your eyes haven't really like focused yet. That is what it's like when you get hard in the head. You're there, you're awake, you know what's happening, but it's kind of hard it's too light. Like everything is kind of light. If the focus isn't there, kind of. Like that's what it's like. Getting hit hard in the head. I just wrestled, by the way, in 31st of August, I wrestled Ishikawa. Speaking of All Japan, by the way, who just left All Japan like 6 months ago. Ishikawa Shuji. Do you know?
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Yes. I wrestled the Ishikawa Shuji on 31st. So he hits hard. Right, you just elbowing you in the head. He's a giant too. 135 kilograms. Which is basically more than 300 pounds, like give or take 300 pounds. Just a huge dude. Yeah. So then Who else? But like, there's a lot of well, Suzuki hits hard. He likes to hit hard. He wants to like he wants to when he wants to hurt you, he really wants to hurt you.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright. Now you actually wrestled for AEW. You teamed with Emi Sakura against Ruby Soho and Ortiz. What was that moment like?
Yeah. It was bizarre. Like, it's a very learning moment. Not really the match. I wouldn't call the match the learning moment. The match was very quick. We went out there. It was a nice arena show. There's thousands of people there. It's a fun experience. Making entrances at places like those is always super fun. But like being in that business environment is a very learning moment. And I'm happy I got to do that. I got to do that a few times actually. So because of that, I am very grateful in that sense to be able to experience that type of wrestling, that style of wrestling. Like it's hard to put into words as to like what it is basically. But you could say like if I want to be a wrestler, I want to experience every plethora of wrestling that I can experience, both as in the ring and outside. Because outside of wrestling is equally important to what audience sees in the ring. Like what audience sees in the ring is basically a result of what happens outside. And to be able to experience that through AEW, and thank you very much to them. They invited me. They treated me very well. Like, I mean, I don't think they even like particularly know me. I am someone who they've invited, and they treated me like they would have invited me. It's not anything good, bad, or anything. It is the very fact that I was able to experience that backstage. I was able to experience that vibe. I was able to experience that way of doing wrestling, basically. It was very, 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 very learning experience. I had a lot of fun there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but one of your AEW appearances was in the old TNA Impact Arena. No? At Universal
Yes,
Studios?
I think I've heard that. I didn't know that when I was there, by the way. But I I think I was told that later. Yeah.
Okay, so not you wasn't exposed to TNA.
No, not TNA. But I did do like a thing with TNA. I did like I hosted a thing for them for India. They wanted me to host something for their TV thing in India. I did that, I think, with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's time for Aki's Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us a road story that fits that description?
It will be mostly unfortunate, but yeah. What would you like to know? I've been mugged in Bangkok in a taxi. I've slept in too many airports that I would like to count in US. What else? I was at one point almost stranded in Mexico at 1:30. What else? Any kind of airport and immigration stories are I can tell you for hours and hours and hours. But I can tell you one thing as far as like bizarre and fun and adventure things goes. I like travel in the way travel comes with uncertainty. It is a weird thing to say, but that is, I think, the reason I like travel. Travel takes you to very, very good places, very beautiful places, very different places. But I like travel with two things. Either I'm alone and I'm traveling still, by the way. It makes and breaks with people. Places are basically the same. Buildings are buildings no matter what city you're going. Concrete is concrete. It's glass. It's shiny. If it's a new city, if it's an old city, you see like more romance there. It's a bit more like London or like Boston and all those. Like it has a lot more memory to it. Like, and you can kind of feel it. But the uncertainty of it, like going to a wrestling show, bringing a lot of merch with Best Bros, and the bag is not arriving, and then you do a 2-day show, and then when you fly back, just take the bag of the merch from the airport and just fly back to it. Like, yeah, losing all the money and actually paying extra to like take a bigger luggage with you, or yeah, okay. This I can tell you because we were talking about Best Bros a minute ago. May has incredible luck in travel.
Okay.
Incredible luck. Like to the point that it is bizarre. I've never had trouble. And also she looks so adorable and lovely that everybody wants to help her. It's a superpower. No joke. One time her flight got cancelled. She was supposed to take a transit through Asia, coming from US, from the East Coast. And she got like, it's got delayed. It's like 24 hours. There's no flight and all that. This was terrible. I'm like, oh, it will be hard. And then she went to a desk helper, like a lady, and she gives her the phone, and I take the phone and I talk in between. First of all, everybody thinks she's like 13 or 14 at most, at peak. When she's like, she has no makeup on and she's just in like her travel clothes and like shorts and like t-shirts and all that. So everybody gets super worried and they always help. Then they talk to me. You would not believe she got here before her expected arrival time. Let me say that one more time. Flight got delayed. It was supposed to be a terrible day, and she got here like 3 hours early than when she was supposed to get here. That lady was so fierce, like, oh, I will tell you where you need to go. She booked a flight with a different airline and all that thing. And it's like, just go there, tell her this is the name of the girl who sent you, and they will do this, and ask them to do this, and they'll do it. I'm like, okay. And then she went there, and then in 30 minutes she was on a plane, and she, like, yeah, the transit time was less, the flight was better, the whole shebang. I, on the other hand, have incredibly shitty luck in travel. I have never, ever had a travel without any trouble. Not a single one. Either the flight is missed, or it's too delayed, or the immigration takes too long, or if nothing else, the bag doesn't arrive. I mean, something goes wrong almost every time. I've never had a hassle-free travel. Ever. Not even once. It's such a thing now that May's luck is so good and mine is so bad that when Best Bros travel together, me and her, and we get into trouble, she blames me now. Like, no joke. No joke. One time, by the way, we were in, where were we? I think Cleveland, the airport. Cleveland? It was Cleveland, yes, I think. But like, but yeah, let's just say Cleveland, because I think it was Cleveland. And we were supposed to fly out, our bag didn't arrive, and then our flight got cancelled. At, by the way, 6 around, I think 5 or 6 in the afternoon. Like, we arrived at the airport around 2:30. Our flight was supposed to fly at 5, and then they were like, it's delayed. And then by 6:30, they're like, all right, it's cancelled. Either 6:30 or 5:30, but quite early. Like, the sun was still quite out, basically. And we're like, so just give us a different flight and all that. They're like, there's no flight until tomorrow. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. is the first flight you will get. And we're like, okay, so what do you want us to sleep here now? They're like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, just hold on. Let me just go and try to get a hotel from these people. Because it's going to be terrible if we have to sleep here. Because it's fucking 5 right now. It's not even night.
Right.
We have to hang around 7 more hours for it to get late enough to sleep. This is terrible. So I go around for like, I wait from their office to office to office to office. And after 2 hours, I was able to meet someone who's like, oh, we will give you a hotel, but it's very hard and all those things and the thousand we've been talking to, and this major schools be like, I got the hotels. I was sitting, and then one person came from the office, asked me, "Are you all right?" And I just told them that we want hotel and we are missing. And they're like, "Hold on, we don't give normally hotel, but I let me see if I can arrange." And then she just get the hotel. No joke. Just standing next to the waiting line where people are waiting to get their turn to like talk to the person in line. You know when you like everybody lines up and there's a mistake and it's just it's like an hour-long thing. Yeah. So I ran around going to their offices for 2.5 hours and just while I was waiting to really talk to the person. I'm very confident I'm gonna get this hotel, and they just calls me like, I got the hotel, don't worry about it. I'm okay. Came back, went to the hotel. Yeah. So if you want to know bizarre and weird, this is bizarre and weird.
Yep.
Yeah. Superpower, people. Superpower.
Now, can you tell us about the paint that you have on your body, the white paint?
Henna.
Yes, the
It's
henna.
Indian henna. Yeah. Henna is basically like, I think most people know it. It's like, I think it's mostly girls thing. Even in India, it's a girls thing. I like the fact that it's a girls thing. But henna is done in India on celebratory days, basically. It signifies celebration, like when there's something good happens, the day you are having a prayer, let's just say, or, like the girls do it on their wedding days, on weddings. Like if you are celebrating a festival, if you're celebrating a god and you're praying and all those things, like on very, very happy days, on very, very celebratory days, you do those. And it has always looked beautiful to me, and I like, and the fact that I'm from India, and I really like, I'm very, like, how should I say, even though it's been hard in every sense, but I still am very happy the fact that the place I come from, the fact that I am from India, and the fact that I do represent a very, very different thing in wrestling that normally isn't present. And I wanted to do something like that, but I also am very, very hard-headed in the sense that I can't do any stereotypes. It's not that I don't want to, or that I just can't. And I wanted to do something which connects me to India. I really wanted to, but I couldn't really, like, in all sense, make it came together in a way, if possible. And then I loved henna from a long time ago. And I was like, okay, let me try this. And I went to Mexico. The first time I did it, it was in Mexico, actually. I did it in Mexico. I did it like once before for a big title match on Choco Pro 300. But I went to Mexico and really did it, and it's been with me since. It's a way for me to say that the shows that I do, the matches that I do, to me, they are a celebration. To me, they are a very, very happy day.
Okay.
And that's why I do it.
And I did see that you've done different variations of it. Is there meaning or significance to the different ones that you do?
For now, no. There are meaningful ones to me. There is a bit like there is one that I do in particular every now and then, which has a lot of flowers in it, which is a bit more different from a traditional like henna. It's a bit more flowery. That one I really like to do if you're doing best pros.
Okay.
To me, that signifies way more who I am when we do best pros. Apart from that, for now, there's ways to do it. I know how to do it, but an occasion hasn't arisen for me yet to have one that has a very, very particular meaning. For now, what I do is just a celebration of fact that I can do this. I do that a bit more, bit more cute, adorable ones and a bit more flowery when I do best pros. Basically, it feels more like natural to do it that way.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's time for the colossal question. Let's say they're making a movie about you. Every movie has a soundtrack. What would be the first 3 songs on your movie soundtrack?
I think there would be. Let me say this. Okay, I'm gonna have to think about it because I've never thought about it before.
Okay.
But I think there should be 3 eras of Akki if somebody makes a movie. The down and dirty one, where I'm basically in the gutter trying to make things happen and it's not working. The one where I'm really, really working hard and things are sometimes working, sometimes not working, but it's the hero's journey type kind of feel. And then there's a point where I'm kind of arrogant and a bit asshole, like I made a bit of money, which haven't happened yet, basically. But I hope so. I hope I get enough success that I can get arrogant. I don't want to get arrogant, but maybe it'll be nice to experience it. Be the rich asshole, basically, and be able to do all those things. Kind of get big enough that people hate me a bit. Like that part of Baliyan Akki, I think. But those all 3 should have different. Those all 3 should have different like soundtracks. Like there's many songs. If I tell you a Hindi song, you won't be able to understand because there's no point in telling those songs.
I mean, you can.
So let me. Yeah, of course I can. But then it won't. Like I can choose the same song that will have a similar meaning. What basically they convey to you, because that's basically what a song does.
Right.
It conveys a certain way to you. So the first one would be, what should be the first one? Hold on a sec. Because the second and third I know. The second and third I know very well. The first one would be something country, I must feel. Like something old and country.
Old and country.
Almost something Johnny Cash-like. Because of how gritty it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very gritty. It was very dirty. It was very in point. It was very, can I make it today kind of thing.
Like
so something
Wheel of Fire?
basically like old country. Yes, something like that.
Okay.
Something like that. Close to it, yeah. But something like that. The number 2 will be what is happening, I think, in the last 5 to 6 years, and will probably be happening for quite a while. Will be something from like basically like what it would be, like Lose Yourself from Eminem, I think.
Okay.
That kind of thing, because you get moments, and then you lose them, and you need to have something in you that you can keep those moments. It really feels like that way. Like every few months I get a match where it can make it or break it. And mostly it does none of those. It doesn't break it or make it. It just gets you to the next match, which might make it or break it. And then that does none of those either. And then it connects you to the next one, which might. But if you don't, then it will not connect you to the next one. And up until this point, I've been able to connect to the next one. It really does feel that way. Yeah. And I do want to lose myself in this as of right now. And when I'm rich and more successful, and a lot of people who I love might end up thinking he's an asshole now, which I will try my best to not let them think that way. But if I ever do get to that point, it will be my arrogant song will be "I Did It My Way."
I mean, that's a good one.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you are at that point and being arrogant. That is a good one. But I will think about that, the first one, like my gritty and dirty part, I think. Mm,
Right.
yeah.
I feel like if you do get to that arrogant phase, may not allow you to. She might chop you down
Yes,
before you get higher.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It will be hard.
Right.
It will be very hard for me to get to that place. But I'll try my best to get there. As
now,
Amisaka would say, in matches, if you're not trying, if you're not cheating, and you're not trying if you're not trying to be an asshole.
now that we have the soundtrack down, everybody knows you get the soundtrack first, then you write the script, and then you go to casting. Who plays Aki?
Okay.
And you can't say yourself because you are obligated to make a Stan Lee-esque cameo.
Okay, who plays me? Do you mean like from the actors that are available right now?
Anybody. Alive.
Anybody, okay.
Alive, dead, old, new. CGI is a thing. We could make it happen.
Okay. Who would play me? This is an interesting question. Let me think a bit. I would like to think a bit on this.
Okay.
That is true. But as far as types go, I would say like a young Mark Ruffalo, or that would be a good one.
Okay.
Or maybe even like because I know he can do this. He's so like good on that point. Maybe like what's his name? Is Kevin something?
Kevin. What was he in?
Hold on a sec. He's Kevin's no.
What was he in?
He's no Mole. He was in the Here Comes the Boom.
Here Comes the Boom.
But like yeah, but like Hollywood has a different thing. Like,
Hey, you
let
mean
me
Kevin
say,
James?
yes, Kevin James.
There you go. Okay.
But like there's
What a,
if it's from India, I don't think.
hello?
Do you know Shah Rukh Khan from India?
I don't think I do.
You don't. Okay, makes sense. But there's a few Indian actors who are like incredibly talented and all that.
I'm sure we could bring them over to play the role, without doubt. Right. Now that we have you casted, every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be 3 people significant to you in your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
He's a very old actor now, but when he was young, Govinda would be an actor who would be perfect. He has incredible range. He was like a very famous comedy wrestler, actor in India. He made a lot of like comedy movies. And when I was a kid, he was the best. Like his movies would be on TV when there was like only two channels and all those things. But if he played it in like when he was young, it would be incredible.
Okay, and who is
Yeah.
he playing?
He's playing me basically, yeah. Govinda, yeah.
Oh,
If he can. Yeah.
but who is every movie has a supporting cast. Who would be three
Of course.
people significant to you in your story that would be in your movie, and who would play them?
Okay. If it's wrestling, it will be Mei, Sakura-san, and Masa Takanashi.
And who will be playing them?
For May, who can play May? It is such a fun question. Do you know someone who can play May? By the way, you can say the name. I'll see if it's on the money or not.
I honestly don't.
Right? It's so different. Like she's such a like a different type.
I mean, she does have a very, distinguished look. Like you could tell
Yes.
who she is.
Yes, very, very different. There's like in her vibe, how she feels, like how she like her especially her wrestling is. There's an Indian actress called Alia Bhatt, who is Aliya. I don't know what she looks now because I haven't seen her in like 8 years. But she has a very, very similar bubbly, you could say, like almost persona.
Okay.
Yeah, she was very, very girlish. She was very like cute, you could say, like because India doesn't really go hard on the cute side. Like Indian, like the beautiful women in India are more like ladylike.
Can you hear me? Hello? There you go.
Yeah, but I'm saying like for Sakura-san is basically saying you need to get like a super serious, really big like Meryl Streep level actress.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. No, actually, that what's her name? She's a big, like, she's really, really big actress. She was M in 007.
Oh,
What's her
Judy
name?
Dench.
Judy,
Judy Dench.
Judy, Judy Dench, that woman, that she is in, like, at least her level. You need to get to play Amy Sakura.
Okay.
For Masa Takanashi, we would have to get. Do you know the name of the actor who's doing the series on right now? It's very popular. It's about Japan warlords in US right now. What's the name of it? Like Warlord? No.
I actually don't know what that is.
Hold on a sec. There's a big series happening right now in US. Series in USA. It's called. It's a name. It's a. It's like, how should I say it? It's what you call in. What do you call? I can't believe it's slipping my mind. But like, there's a series happening right now.
Trying to think. What are the
Shogun. There we go.
Shogun. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes.
So in Shogun, right? It's a Japanese series.
Yes.
The lead of Shogun, that dude. You need that dude. What's his name? He's the biggest Hollywood like Japanese actor.
Hold on. Takehiro Hiro?
Takehiro-san, yes.
Okay.
Takehiro-san will play Masa Takanashi. That casting, I'm very foolproof on.
Alright.
It's a foolproof casting, yes. It is the perfect casting.
This is sounding like a fantastic movie, a blockbuster to say the least, and you could pre-order the tickets now. Alright, on to a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance? Pineapple on pizza.
All right.
What's your stance?
Pineapple on pizza. I don't understand that question because I come from India. I didn't go through pineapples or pizzas. But I do know the only pizza I really enjoy. There's a pizza place in Tokyo that I go there every few months. It's very thin crust. It's very proper. They make it very fresh. You eat it, it goes away in like a second. So the pineapple on the pizza thing, I haven't eaten it yet. I don't like. I can't really put any money on it. But I don't know if I might like it. If I like it, I will not be the person to not say I don't like it. If I like it, I'll be yelling high from my roof. If I don't like it, bad for the pineapple people. But I haven't tried it yet.
All right. So
I do have tried the Chicago deep fried pizza. That thing does not seem like a pizza. Let me just at least say that. From what I know of pizza, that thing was a very different experience.
So you're kind of leaning more towards anti rather than pro when it comes to pineapple.
I don't know. I'm generally saying, like, if I liked pineapple, because you don't know something when you like. Sometimes it just something just hits, and you're like, what the hell is this so nice? Like something just hits. I don't know. But if I like it, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll tweet about it. Get all the hate on Twitter.
What's your spirit Pokemon?
My spirit Pokemon. It would be I don't know the name, but you know, the one which is like it's.
Oh. Aki, can you hear me?
Very hard and.
Oh, Aki, if you can hear me, you're going in and out.
I didn't know. Like the one I watched a little bit of Pokemon when I was a kid in India on Cartoon Network, which was like really an experience because it was in Hindi and all.
Really?
Like really? Yes, like dubbed in Hindi, and I watched it a little bit. It was such an experience. But now I've watched a bit of Pokemon here even in Japanese, and they don't like. It's hard. Like it's even hard to like think about it. But to me, when I think about it in the old time, I can remember it in Japanese, which is a weird, which is a very weird thing. But I really can. And but like yeah. But for me, that I just loved. I love Team Rocket. I didn't know I loved Team Rocket, but I do. Now I can think like, oh, I used to love Team Rocket. I just didn't know I loved them. I wanted them to show up every time. Those were my favorite episodes when Team Rocket would show up. Meow was adorable. He was such a devil. He was the best. You can even think like my Croatian friends are in the same way. Yeah, it was a bit annoying, but the best. But yeah, Pikachu, Charmander was the most adorable to me. Charmander was the most adorable.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe Charmander. Yeah, because Charmander was adorable to me.
Alright, well, we love the OGs. Weirdest question you'll be asked on a wrestling interview, hopefully.
Okay.
Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson, not the country, an actual physical Rock.
I would like to wrestle a Rock?
Yes.
Of course, I can beat the shit out of a Rock. The Rock can do shit to me. I will bring a bat to the fight. What the fuck is the Rock gonna do to me? I won't even make it a squash. I will beat that Rock for 20 minutes, get a good workout out of it, and hopefully get the people the money's it's worth. I would love to wrestle a Rock.
Okay.
It will. The only thing I will lose is sweat. in the match. There will be no damage. I'll beat the shit out of the Rock.
Well, just for context, there's a wrestler named Psycho Mike that indeed wrestled a Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match. That's an Iron Man match
Alrighty.
that lasts for 2 weeks.
What?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And he did not win that match either.
Wrestling!
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't even know which country I'll be living in. I don't even know what kind of wrestling I'll be doing in. I could be doing, like, you can imagine this by thinking of me 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I was about to move to UK to wrestle. And I lived in UK for like 4 months. 4 months, I think. But you could not imagine this. Like, you could not imagine the pandemic. You could not imagine Choco Pro. You could not imagine me living and just working and traveling to US, to Mexico, like wrestling to all over Japan, like thinking about doing big things in India, like all those things. None of this thing was like 5 years ago. I couldn't even imagine it. And if you think about like more 3 years before that, I didn't even know if I would be able to become a wrestler or not. Like, if I was living a very straightforward life, I was an independent worker, and my plan was to work hard and get popular, or like do something like that and make money, or get a contract and do something very, very nice. And then my choices, what I wanted to get, were very straightforward. Like, I will know I will be wrestling in 5 years, unless it is physically impossible for me to wrestle, unless something unfortunate happens, which can always happen. Unless that's happening, I'm 100% going to be wrestling. That part I'm certain of. But my path is not straightforward at all. At all. Like, would a contract be incredible? Yes, it will be very, very nice. But would India be incredible? Because I'm really working hard on India right now. Maybe go back and do something big there. That's very possible. Or even get a contract or like wrestle big here in Japan, or just push through with Choco Pro, and maybe Choco Pro becomes a very world level phenomenon. Like, there's so many possibilities that I cannot imagine 5 years from now at all. One thing I will tell you though, I will be wrestling.
Okay.
That I'm certain of. Yes.
And what is a match people should go out of their way to see that best shows off what you are all about as a pro wrestler?
I can answer that very quick. If you want to see the full breadth of me, not really what I can do physically or athletically, no, not what I can do like showmanship, just basically who the core of me is. You should watch Choco Pro 200, Baliyan Akki versus Minoru Fujita.
Okay.
That is the most raw of me. I am bare-hearted, naked, embarrassed, everything in that match. It is not literally, but it's just my heart is in my hands in that match. It is hard for me to watch even, but yeah, that one if you wanna watch.
And can we find that on YouTube?
Yeah, just search Baliyan Akki versus Minoru Fujita 200. Just write 200 at the end, and it should show up right away.
Okay.
Let me actually, yeah. The opponent is, by the way, Minoru Fujita.
Okay. Well, I will find that match on YouTube, and I will put a link to it in the description of the video.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Thank you.
On YouTube and Castbox for anybody that hasn't seen it, wants to see it, wants to re-see it after this interview.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Absolutely. And since we are nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Okay.
This is our speed round or bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready?
Okay. Okay.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
Adi Sakura.
Worst wrestler.
You guys all might not know, but from India, there's a dude, and even if I say the name, you won't know the name. But I don't think there's one worst wrestler in the world. I think every one of us have that time in us, basically.
I mean, give us the name. Who is this bad wrestler from
Okay.
India?
His name was he was a wrestler for a very very short period of time. What was his name? He one time Soka kicked my head and knocked me out. Mm,
Ooh.
I don't even know. Like it was, I think, a practice match too. What was his name? But I'm happy I don't remember his name at least. So that's a good thing. Sorry about that.
I mean, it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
You're main eventing WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
John Cena.
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Edge.
Which one?
The smoke one. Why, it's not coming to my head right now, but the smoke one. His main entrance, when he was running on his main run, basically. He has the best entrance.
The Metal Angus, right?
Yes, the Metal Angus, yes.
Okay.
That is the best. That is the best entrance.
Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
Magic.
We would have also accepted taste great on toast. Squash. Vegetable or fruit?
Fruit.
Yes, it is indeed a fruit.
Alrighty.
New Japan wrestler Tai Chi. His ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question:
Okay.
what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
Where I can see the hair poking out of your ass. That's my line. That's my personal line.
Okay.
Don't show me that. Apart from that, do whatever the hell you want. You do you.
Okay.
Just note that.
Gotcha. And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
Nope.
And
I actually have never had a conversation about Darby Allin anywhere, to be honest. I mean, it would have been different if I was in US, but you know.
And that's the correct answer. And that will
I'm happy.
And that will conclude this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
No problem.
Once again, where can we find you on social media?
You can just search Baliyan Akki even on Google or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and you should be able to find me right away. If you want to get an @ link, just go Baliyan X Akki, and it will straight show up.
All right.
I would appreciate a follow or a like, anything.
Absolutely. And where can we find your merchandise is on the Choco Pro website?
Yes, it is ChocoPro space Big Cartel. Just search ChocoPro Big Cartel, and you should be able to find it right away.
Okay. And you don't even have to type it into your Google machine. All of the links to all his social media will be in the description of the video below, but on YouTube and Castbox, simply click the link. A new tab will appear on whatever device you are on. You have no excuse. Buy a damn shirt.
Buy it.
Yes. Of course, thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment. But on YouTube and Castbox, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us tomorrow as we interview Kuya Born And join us every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. Follow the show at Wrestling with E, but on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Alright, when I say wrestling with, you say entertainment, okay?
Alrighty.
For our special guest, Baliyan Akki, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment. And of course, Baliyan Akki as well.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.